What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Planetary Reviews. Sorry I could not bring the review for the very first Kingsman movie. A very busy week, school and stuff like that. I had to fix my car. Sorry I couldn't bring that to you, but you know what? I wanted to make sure I got you guys the review for the second movie. So if you guys wanted to decide if you wanted to go out there and see it, you could at least watch the video and see what happens. So let's get down to it. First off, I love the first movie. The first movie was a badass spy movie that I loved. It was amazing. It had great comedy. It was filled with great performances all around, and it had amazing action and special effects. I was so surprised when I saw that movie. I was like, holy crap, that was outstanding. Now, does the sequel live up to that? Let's talk about it. Let's start off with the story. The story to this movie is that the Kingsmen get attacked by an organization known as the Golden Circle. The Kingsmen are taken out. They have to figure out what they have to do. Eggsy and is pretty much the last one left. He's the last agent left out of the Kingsmen. He has to figure out what's going on, who these people are. So in the middle of that journey, trying to figure out what's going on, it takes them to the Statesmen. They are the US version of the Kingsmen, pretty much. They're an organization that just from the way they portray themselves, they're a brewery. They love alcohol, they make it, they sell alcohol, but underneath all that, they are an awesome, badass spy organization underneath, just like the Kingsmen were a tailor shop, but underneath, they were also spies. And it was awesome to see the American version of the Kingsmen, especially when you first meet Channing Tatum. He was really cool in this movie. I liked his performance. He was awesome. I just wish they utilized him more. He wasn't in it enough. I wish we saw more of him because he was great. But then as you find out later on in the story, as it continues on, the Golden Circle turns out to be run by a big villain that is played by Julianne Moore. And she does a good job. She isn't as good as Samuel L. Jackson, but it is pretty hard to live up to that because Samuel L. Jackson made the first one very funny. He knew what to do. When you see Samuel L. Jackson on screen, he just has that personality that's just going to make you laugh, but also be kind of scared of him. So it's hard to top that, but she did a good job. It wasn't great, but she did a good enough job, and I enjoyed her a lot. And pretty much what her plan is, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but what her plan is that she pretty much has a large portion of the population kind of held ransom. And if they don't stop her, they'll die. So the Kingsmen have to go out and save them, along with the Statesmen, and save the world pretty much. And that's pretty much the gist of the entire story. I don't want to go into spoilers like I said, but the first thing I'm going to say is right from the get-go, this movie opens up wonderfully. It has an excellent action scene that is funny and over the top, just like what I would expect, and it set the tone completely. I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. Throughout the entire movie, just like in the first one, every single action scene in this movie was good. It was excellent. It had great cinematography, awesome CGI, and it just looked great. It wasn't like something where the camera was always shaking all day or nothing. No, you were able to tell what was going on, and it was just great to see. It was a beautiful visual spectacle. Awesome. The next thing I want to talk about, all of the performances in this movie were spot on. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Everyone was fantastic. Halle Berry and Channing Tatum were great additions. They were awesome. I just wish they utilized Channing Tatum more. But Halle Berry was a great tech person. She did great. She was smart. She was just as smart as everyone in the Kingsmen. And she showed that, hey, America knows what we're doing. We're just as smart as you guys, which was awesome to see. The next thing I want to talk about is that even though I did love this movie a lot, the only thing this movie I felt like really screwed up on was not screwed up completely, but the comedy. It wasn't bad. I laughed a lot in this movie, but nowhere near as much as I did in the first one. The first one had the advantage of having Samuel L. Jackson, and having him in there, he could bring you a lot of comedy, and you really enjoyed that. And then in this one, it's just so hard to top him. So the comedy, when it comes from the villain, like you would expect because of the type of tone that the first movie set up, you go into this one, you're like, man, I just don't have the same charisma. No offense to Julianne Moore, she did a great job as the villain, but it just doesn't have the same laughter, the same charisma as he did. And that's a tough thing to do when the standard was pretty much set so high up there. And the next thing I want to talk about is that even though it wasn't as funny, it definitely made up for it through more emotional aspects. There were a lot of little emotional moments that I wasn't expecting to have in this movie. There was a returning character that we all thought was dead, and then I'm sure you've seen it in the trailers, but I'm not going to ruin it for everyone else, but a returning character that we thought was dead from the first movie comes back, and they have to try and rebuild his memories, and they did a great job with that. And the way they gave him his memory back was awesome. I was like, that is cool. There was such an emotional moment behind it. The way they gave it back to him, it was great. It was awesome to see him back in action, but also, they also showed that he's a little flawed. So that did a great job of portraying a man who's trying to rebuild himself, who's trying to find himself once again, and that was great. And there were a lot more emotional moments when it came to who Iggy is dating right now. There were a lot of good moments and a great connection between him and her, even though we didn't get to see too much of them on screen, but I love the connection they had. And also, like I said, there wasn't also a really badass side villain. The side villain there, like the henchman, like in the last one, Sofia Boutella was a great sidekick. She was badass, and she was just, something about her is just she's very good. She plays a bad guy really well, and I like her performance in the first one. And in this one, they also have a returning character from the first one, and he just wasn't as intimidating, wasn't as scary, didn't have the same oomph that Sofia Boutella had as the pretty much really good henchman to the villain. So, guys, overall, was this movie bad? No, absolutely not. This movie was excellently performed, great CGI, great action, some good comedy. It just didn't have the same oomph that the first one had. The first one had the advantage of Samuel L. Jackson, Sofia Boutella, and just being a very original take on the spy genre of the like James Bond style movies. It did really well, and it's just hard to capture that magic in a bottle 100% twice. But was this movie a disappointment? Hell no. This movie was really good. If you don't know what you want to see this weekend, guys, I would definitely recommend to go see Kingsman: The Golden Circle, because it gets a very solid A- from me, guys. So, tell me what you guys thought about Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Did you feel it was better than the first one? Did you feel it was worse than the first one? I want to know your guys' opinion, because like I said, I thought it was still very good. I just think it didn't have the same magic. It was a little bit below the first one, but it was still an excellent movie that I loved watching, and I had a great time, and I recommend all you guys go out there to see if you're a spy genre fan, and if you like the first one, you guys will definitely have a good time. But, the next plans for the next video, I'm going to be doing my Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite review, and then after that, I will let you know what movies I'm going to be reviewing next. I have to look down the list to see what else is coming out as we go on. But the next game after Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to look forward to, the two that I'm going to be doing in October is the new South Park game and Assassin's Creed Origins are going to be my 2 October reviews, so look forward to those. And of course, look forward to my Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite review. I'm in the middle of that. It's going okay. I'm not great at fighting games. I'm not great at tag fighting games, so I'm trying my best. So, give me a break here. But, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.